Hello, ladies and gentlemen. MJ, Michael, aka Victor here. So, if I'm doing this right, this should be published on 4/27 at 12/27, and I'll leave that and come back to synchronicities and coincidences a little later. But basically, this is just me coming out of the closet as being a quote-unquote volunteer or angel or whatever term you want to use for it. And we're going to discuss all of that. This is actually my card, which says Angel Artist Matrix Engineer. So angel, the word angel just means messenger, right? And an angel is just a messenger. What is the message? That we're all made in the image of God. God only makes angels, right? I did a video before talking about the problem of us being Superman and believing we're Clark Kent. It's like being an angel and believing you're something other than that. So that is the message that comes from the angels, if you will. And it's about us being spiritual beings having a human experience. So me incarnating here, part of my mission was to be an example of that, to be a witness of that, and document that, which I have as well, pretty much for a lifetime. I've had a camera in my hand since I can remember. And so the Trueman Show is a reality show, just showing the reality show of a volunteer, of an angel. If you want to say one of the 144,000. I don't know if there's a number or whatever, but that's what it's talked about in the biblical terms. But anyway, what are these guys talking about? What are they here to do? Well, there's different nodes, there's different ones in different areas. And it's interesting. You see, I had all this already down. I was going to talk about it. And I got forwarded a video from a friend of mine that was talking about volunteers as well. In the past, I did a volunteer talk. But again, this is just an example, like real life. This is really going on. So this is what I was going to talk about, just basically us being spiritual beings, having a human experience. And I use the red and the blue here, and I try to use visuals as well as part of the parables, because people look and learn on different levels. So as you see during my journey and during my mission, I've captured a lifetime of experience pretty much. I don't have my birth and all of that stuff, but I got a good amount. But the important part is the spiritual awakening, and that's been imprinted online and been disseminated throughout the social network. So that's there. So I've said what I needed to say from that standpoint. So from an angel standpoint, my message has been delivered and disseminated in a creative way that I feel online, using music and visuals and everything else in a way that I would with my personality. And I'll try to use a little more humor in this as well, because I'm trying to enjoy this journey as well. But it is a mission. I do feel it is important. As you can see when you really look at it, spirituality is fundamental, because the non-physical actually dictates what's happening in the physical. So if you got a situation where you're taking action, there's normally a thought or something that precedes that action. And from a spirituality, that's the base of all of this. You know, just like I say, religion and science, they can have their belief systems. But if you look at both as a whole, that's spirituality, because you don't limit where you can look from a scientific standpoint. You can look within as well. And this is what I'm talking about here, the inner journey. So, and this is where it starts. So this was a whole thing of digging. You know, we're all human beings. So what is this being part of us? Like, what is that? Okay, you understand human part, the animal, the monkey, unconscious part of ourselves pretty much. So we understand that. What about the being side? You know, what about that side? Well, that side is made in the image of God. Now, part of the belief systems will make you believe that something's wrong with your copy. You know, if you make a copy of something and it's in an image, if it's in an image of God, it's God. If something's in an image of a turtle, then it should look like a turtle. So you are God. You are in the image of God. So that's why your self-image is important. And these belief systems are what they use to limit our self-image, to change our self-image. And it's something other than this, right? Instead of being an image of God, you're something other than God, right? So those are the people that are looking at this and are saying that I'm crazy, right? But I'm standing here, this is me, and this is a wall that I built. It's not a high wall, but I'll talk about this a little later. But yeah, some people will say I'm crazy for even believing what was there before. They believe they're other than that, just based on the belief system that can easily be chopped up with something that's called the truth. And over the years of being awake in this matrix, and this matrix is just a physical reality in time, we experience it holographically. We're like, we're spiritual beings. So this is a play, if you will, and we're all playing characters. I'm playing a character. We're all playing characters. There's no character better than the other. And the thing is, when you don't look at the other as yourself, when you can limit other people based on your belief systems, you can think they're different than you instead of seeing that they are you. They're different yous. You're playing all characters. That's why you're a copy of the creator. You just have that creative essence. So that's the truth. So if anyone tells you anything different, you can slice them up with a whole lot of facts, and there's things going back, facts going back for a long time. So it isn't just me up here talking. The 100-degree challenge isn't just me up here talking. The 100-degree challenge just says what spiritual beings have in the human experience. Just keep it real simple like that. Now that realization means that a lot of the stuff that's added on for belief system wise doesn't apply. You don't need that. So why add that extra guilt and add that extra detriment to your self-image and all of that stuff when you don't have to? It's not necessary. It's false, and you can easily believe. You easily do that with the truth, right? With facts. What can you prove? What is the evidence? Let's weigh it on a scale. There's more evidence for this, so therefore this is more probable than that. That's very easy to do. And I'm someone that's standing here that's put that challenge out for that. That's the 9-foot wall, basically, that the volunteers or the people that know this and are like, duh, can easily go over that wall. But if you're someone that believes that you are 6, right? I mean, you could be a 9, but I don't know, 9s exist, but there was only one 9, and God only made one 9, and, if I'm not, all of this stuff, right? The thing is, the 100-degree challenge is the line drawn and said that I'm a 9, I'm here, I've been all right, I've been a 9 for a while, we're all 9s, we just forgot. And part of the reason that we're forgot is this level of suppression that's been on us by this parasite, this virus that is sucking energy from us. And it seems like a sci-fi movie, but it's true. That's why your connection is important, because you unplug from their matrix and you can create your own. That's what the matrix engineer part is. We're changing this matrix from the inside out. We're hijacking it from the inside out. So you have to experience everything and be there and implant and make connections with other people in here, other nodes in here, so that when you awaken, you can help awaken them. And you can be a strong example so that they can stand against these belief systems, because there's a lot of support behind this. And then other people will eventually see that. That's part of the Trueman Show, is just shedding light on that, and that opens up. So I'm just an example. So I'm walking around here, an example of a spiritual being having human experience. And I know this. So I've had a death of the ego, you will. So I know that I'm a spirit, so I don't fear death. So you have a different view of life when you don't fear death. But some people believe that they're this ego, this programmed existence of them, this small identity, that they're just your name, profession, your race, your color, your sex, and your whatever, right? But you're more than that, and that's the connection right here. You're Superman, right? And sometimes it takes experienced people. That's all the volunteers are. They're more experienced, and you can be more experienced in other star systems. So I'll do a little show and tell, and then I'll shut up. So basically the challenge is here. This is a 9 in this physical reality in your matrix, a volunteers, and I'll talk about star seeds. And I'm here, and I have a 100-degree challenge as far as logical facts, using a reductionary method to show that this is possible, talking about science, talk, or whatever. But nobody's special. Even though my mama said I was special, nobody's special. Not claiming that, all right? But I'm a 9. We're all 9. God only makes 9. We're made in the image of God. The belief system says that we're other than God, right? And that's what can easily be proved false when you dig, right? And you find that the treasure is within you, the inner journey. That's the same thing we talked about. That's what's so cool about the video that I was forwarded, because it's the same message. And I'm trying to make it simple, but there's a lot of thought behind that, because that's just how my mind works. Let's go back to the starseed thing. So, if you're a spirit and you've incarnated and you've lived before, you just don't remember you living before when you incarnate here. If you've done that before, you had that realization. Who's to say you can't live on other star systems? There's other life in the universe. Our makeup is nothing special. We're all made of stardust. The stars are nothing special. It's interesting how we talk about stars as if they're special, like they're not like us. No, they're made of the same thing like us. Anyway, so there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on Earth. And this is real fact number 144. That was from a Snapple cap. And that just happened to be number 144. So we'll talk about coincidence, because there's a lot of coincidences. But I always see number 27. I talk about that a lot. And that boils down to 9, which again is the highest number. That's what we are. We're all 9s. We're in the image of God. That's why our self-image is important. The difference between a 9 and a 6. So this wall that's been created is based on a 9 and a 6. And it's really just your perception. See, they want you to believe that it's a 6, but your actual own inner journey will give you the confidence, the realization. You will know for yourself, know thyself, that you are indeed a 9. And that's no problem to go over that wall. That keeps you limited. That's the box as well. And I'm here in the Bible Belt. So part of my volunteerism is actually in Tennessee in the volunteer state. So we talk about coincidence and the matrix and just how the universe has a sense of humor, just looking at where I am. Inside of the Bible Belt. So here I write Bible Belt, and then I put a little Bible in the middle of the belt. And it's funny, there's a pyramid here as well. So it sticks out in the Bible Belt, just like I'm going to stick out in the Bible Belt. Just an example of a volunteer being in Tennessee and all the coincidences here. Just like the coincidence of Project 27 going across the United States to LA, where I met someone that forwarded me a video that I saw today, which also talked about volunteers. And also being here in the area that was close to the path of totality that's going across the United States. I think we're very important as far as starting this wave of consciousness, and we talked about a wave before, where the volunteers first stand up and then they make themselves known, and the people that know this, the people that are like, yeah, I know this, just voice that to your immediate people and show that you're not crazy for taking back your own power and sovereignty. So you see those nodes start to light up, and just like a pixel on the screen, we begin to change the screen. So that's what spirituality in action is about. That's actually a corporation here that we're going to implant this spiritual knowledge into a corporate entity that is going to have built into it, giving back built into it. So it's kind of like what they talked about in Wakanda, where the guy was going to have an outreach center. It's kind of like that, but it's dealing with creativity. It's dealing with uplifting all of these things to allow one to be able to fish for themselves and have their own experience of who they are. That's really what it's about. And we do that through music. So this is my first album that I put out, Now Showing. It was a play on life being like a movie. And on the intro, I talk about being a soul experiencing life, and being in this movie and my mom and dad playing roles. And this was done way back in 2006, right? So I was talking about that then. I've come out with more music then, but there's a lot of music that hasn't come out, and that's what this is here. So this is all the music that hasn't come out, and these are all songs. So there's going to be work done with that. And that's going to be done through BMP. That's the music production part of Sire. It's going to be multifaceted. So there's been some thought put into it. And it's not just me. So it's not just what I'm saying. It's just the right thing to do. It's just based on a set of principles of these things, of empathy, of love, of compassion, of doing the right thing, of giving back, and of just being fair. So I've been recording things for a while. This is a video that I did, or that I'm in. But I have, cut my teeth on the VHS. Some people will not even know what this is, but you used to have a camcorder. You used to plug it in. You used to put it on your shoulder like this and hold it. I guess kind of old school. But yeah, so we've been doing music back then. I've had people that I've developed friendships with that I still am friends with, and I still am able to be true to my mission and everything. And it's not that I'm not living the experience as well. I'm working, I'm in corporate America, but what I want to do is shift what I'm doing now to a more focus of this, to where I can devote more of my time. And that's funny, because this just a good segue. This is a song that we did. This is a tape, by the way. Before MP3s, used to play it on tape, so I used to record on tape, and money and time. So that little thing is interesting, because when I've had the time, I didn't have the money, and when I had the money, I didn't have the time. So getting both at the same time is a challenge. But that's the whole thing, is to do what you want to do, that you love for a living. This is what I love to talk about, because this is the best thing I feel you can do with your time, is to help others, and this is the highest way you can help others. This is going to empower things on a whole different level. And what we're doing with this example right here, I'm sorry if I'm going a little long, what we're doing with this example right here is we're going to use this on different levels as well. And this data that we've collected during this time, we're going to use that as well. So questioning the 100-degree challenge is not going to hurt it. It's only going to strengthen it. So I want people to ask questions. That's the whole point. That's the whole start of this of this journey. And then eventually you'll realize that the treasure is within, just like the people that have said before, and that's what these religions and these belief systems have been built around, to turn you from a 9 to a 6, to keep you from opposing the infestation that we got going on now. I talked about the holographic nature of the universe, this matrix, and this was just an example of that as far as a seashell, that same shape, that same ratio, that same dimension. I think they say this is in Trump's hair as well too. I think I've seen a video about that, or a picture about that. But they say the same ratios in your hands and in your body. You know, if you want to run the numbers, we can look at it statistically. We can do that, because I'm interested to see as well, what are the odds of this happening versus chance, just to see. Because most people will say, oh, that's just random chance, just like all of these things are random. But yeah, just another example of synchronicity. 27 is one of the ones that I began to notice. I began to notice that because my sister's birthday was on February 27th, 227, and her name is Angel. She passed away at a young age, and I always kept that number in mind. Didn't even realize it was in my own social, and it was around a whole lot. And it's even the same number of books in the New Testament. Maybe that's a coincidence or not. Just an example of coincidence that I don't create, that still amazed me, just to see the fine-tuning of the universe, if you will, is I was getting green apples, and these are the same green apples that I was cutting in between to show that how you can cut that apple depends on whether you see the star, the 9, the star in you, or you don't even see anything, 6, what they make us believe, what they keep us separated. So I was getting a couple of those apples, the Granny Smith apples, the green ones. Happened to grab them, they're $128 a pound. Got enough of them to equal $227 total, you know, for the amount that I paid. And that's one side of the coincidence. And on the same ticket, there's also a coincidence of the time that I checked out, not when I swiped, but I guess when the transaction went. So yeah, those are coincidences. And I've traveled and I've looked at different countries as well, and the infestation is worldwide. Now this is another example of coincidence. This is from actual, supposedly an Australian Aboriginal handmade boomerang, which I unsuccessfully got to come back to me, but I did throw it a couple times. $27 for that. Another example of coincidence. Anyway, I just wanted to show you there's physically evidence of this happening in my life. I'm not a crazy person. I'm just someone that wants to be the best example of a human being that I can, you know, having balance on both sides. And I am more than this stick, just like your spiritual being having human experience. The physical part of you is very small compared to the non-physical part. So my experience of waking up is like actually being in a dream, like waking up in a dream. Like this reality to me is like waking up in a dream. It's like being in the Matrix, waking up in the Matrix, or Inception, being in the dream and waking up in the dream. And to realize that being the one special, these people can wake up as well. It's just a matter of experience. Maybe I've lived longer. Maybe I've had more experience in implanting ideas like this and concepts like this in other matrices. Who knows? We all go through the same veil of forgetfulness, but it's a matter of remembering. And you just remember who you are, and then the rest is going to be up to you. But you're definitely more than your physical being. You're more than a stick, and we are all 9. So sorry that this went so long, but when I'm out now, it's just like, it's a relief off my system. Yeah, I told you all of this before. I've done the Michael talk, I've done the Jesus talk, I've done all of that. And that's not about implying anything special about myself. It's just applying that what's in me is within you, and it's the same thing. We're all made in the image of God. And the whole idea, the whole other, is that belief system, right? So that's where we are. Peace, y'all.